Hello viewers, you're welcome to my class. If this is your first time coming across my video, kindly subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video here on this channel or anytime I'm live so you get notified. My name is Aisha Bande, you're welcome. So we have a question to solve here which will be very beneficial to 2026 JAMB aspirants. The question is on the subject of relation, which reads, if sine theta is equals to m minus n over m plus n, we are required to find the value of 1 plus tan squared theta. So let's solve this together. We have 5 options here from option A up to E. One of the options is the correct answer. Let's do this together, guys, and see which of the answer has the correct, or which of the option rather has the correct option. If you love what I'm doing on this page, kindly give me a thumbs up. Let's get started. So this is sine theta, and we know that sine theta has a formula of what? Opposite over hypotenuse. So what this means is, since sine theta is given as m minus n over m plus n, that means the opposite side has the value of m minus n, while the hypotenuse has the value of m plus n. So in this case, we can draw a right angle triangle to substitute in these values, right? So we know that the longest side in a triangle is called the hypotenuse. So the hypotenuse here we have m plus n, right? And the opposite side is where you have the angle facing. The opposite side in this case here we have m minus n, right? So that means the value, the missing value here now is the value for the adjacent, which we do not know. And we have to find the value of 1 plus tan squared theta, right? So for us to get the value of 1 plus tan squared theta, this becomes 1 plus, we know tan theta is what? Opposite over adjacent. So this is the formula we are to use. So this becomes square. So we include the square here, right? That's the power. So this is the formula we are to use now to solve this problem. But there's an issue. Something is missing here. What is missing is the value of the adjacent. We do not have the adjacent given in the question. So what does that imply? That implies that we have to find the value for the adjacent. All right. So doing that, what do? We can use what we call the Pythagoras rule, which states that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the square of the adjacent and the opposite side. So let me write this mathematically. The Pythagoras rule, so let me write this. Pythagoras rule, which is hypotenuse square is equals to the opposite square plus adjacent square. So in this case, what we are looking for is the value for the adjacent, right? So to make our work easy, make adjacent the subject of the relation. Doing that, we are going to be having that hypotenuse square minus the opposite square is equal to the square of the adjacent. This is square of adjacent, but what we have to find is the adjacent, not the square of the adjacent. So what do we do at this point? We can take the square root of both the left hand and the right hand side so that the square root symbol cancels the square and the adjacent stand on its own. And we can proceed by substituting, solving, and getting the correct answer. So let's do this now. You take the square root of both sides, right? So the square cancels the square root here. What we are left with is the adjacent is equal to the square root of the square of the hypotenuse minus the square of the opposite. Now we can substitute now. Let's do this. So the adjacent will be equal to the square root of the hypotenuse. The value for the hypotenuse, we have it as m plus n, then we have a square, minus the opposite side, which is m minus n. We also have the square. So now all we have to do is to expand. Now let's do a rough work here. You know we have m plus n squared. What does this mean? This means m plus n in 2 places, square of each, right? Let's expand this bracket. For the sake of those who might not know how to do expansion, you pick the first value, the first term in the first bracket, multiply by the whole of the second bracket, which is m plus n. You go to the second term in the first bracket, which is plus n, multiply by the value, all the values we have in the second bracket, which is m plus n, right? So in this case, what do? We open up the bracket. M times n gives us m squared, plus m times n gives us mn, plus n times n gives us mn, plus n times n gives us n squared. Now we have m squared plus mn gives us 2mn plus n squared. So this is simplified to the lowest term. Now we come back here and substitute that value. So this is equal to the square root of m squared plus 2mn plus n squared minus. Now, let's expand the value for m minus n squared. So this also means m minus n in two places, right? So let's expand this. Pick the first term in the first bracket, multiply by the second bracket, the whole of the second bracket. The second term in the first bracket is minus n, multiplied by the whole of the second bracket, which is m minus n. So now let's expand the same method, right? So m times m gives me m squared minus m times n gives me mn minus m times n is mn minus times minus is a plus, n times n gives me n squared. So here I have m squared minus mn minus mn is minus 2mn plus n squared. So I've simplified this now. So I come back here to substitute. Remember, we have a negative symbol here. This negative symbol here plays a crucial role here, and this is a common mistake students make. So be very careful when you get to this, okay? Because the negative sign here is going to affect all of the values we are going to impute now. So we have m squared minus 2mn plus n squared. So let's simplify this. This is equal to the square root of m squared plus 2mn plus n squared minus m squared minus times plus here is a plus 2mn plus, then plus times minus here. You see the signs are changing, right? So we have minus n squared. Let's simplify this. Looking at this, m squared we cancel minus m squared, right? And what else? M squared we cancel minus n squared we cancel minus n squared. So what do we have left? We have left 2mn plus another 2mn, and if you sum these values together, this gives us 4mn, right? So what this means is that the value for the adjacent, now we have 4mn. 4 is a perfect square, right? So the square root of 4 gives us 2. Then we have square root of mn. So that means the adjacent has a value of 2 roots mn. So now we can come back to this triangle now and substitute in the value for the adjacent, which is 2 roots mn, right? Okay, let me write it here. The adjacent, 2 roots of mn. Since we've gotten the adjacent, now we can go back to the question which we asked to find 1 plus tan squared theta. Now let's substitute. That becomes 1 plus opposite square over the adjacent square, right? Okay, so we can write this opposite over adjacent all square. We are looking for 1 plus tan squared theta, right? Okay, let me rewrite this. Because of space, 1 plus tan squared theta is equal to 1 plus opposite over adjacent all square. So at this point, all we have to do now is to substitute, simplify, get the correct final answer. If you have watched up to this point, thank you. That means you really enjoyed the video and hope you understand every step. Do not forget, turn on the notification bell, give me a follow by subscribing to this channel, and give me a thumbs up if you like what I am doing. All right, so guys, let's move on. So substituting here, we have 1 plus, now we have the value for the opposite already stated, which is m minus n over the adjacent, which you have as 2 roots mn. So we are going to square the whole of this. So this is the same as saying 1 plus m minus n all squared over 2 roots mn all squared. So we simplify this now. So you have to permit me, I have to clean the whole of this since it's a rough work because of space. Thank you all. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so you get notified anytime I'm live or anytime I might drop a new video on this page. All right. So now we have 1 plus m minus n squared. So this becomes 1 plus m minus n squared has been, we have simplified this earlier on, and we got the value to be what? M squared minus 2mn plus n squared, right? So now divide this by 2 roots mn squared. So this is 2 squared. 2 squared gives me 4. Then we have root mn all squared. Roots mn squared. So at this point here, look at this. This square cancels the square root, right? So we have 1 plus m squared minus 2mn plus n squared over 4mn. So at this point, this one here, we are allowed to say 1 over 1 because 1 over 1 still gives us 1. So the LCM here is 4m. Let's use the butterfly method to simplify this. Now 1 times 4mn will give us 4mn, right? Then 1 times m square minus 2mn plus n square will give me plus m square minus 2mn plus n square. You know the value doesn't change, we're just multiplying by 1. Now let's collect like terms. This becomes 4mn minus 2mn plus m square plus n square over 4mn. So 4mn minus 2mn gives me what? 2mn plus m square plus n square over 4mn. So we have to look at the options and arrange according to how the options were given. So looking at all the options, we know that m comes first. So this becomes m square plus n square plus 2mn over 4mn. So we have simplified this to its lowest term. So this is the value we have for 1 plus tan square theta. Alright, so this is 1 plus tan square theta as m square plus n square plus 2mn all over 4mn. So looking at the 4 options, option D happens to be the final correct answer. This is so easy, right? So viewers, if you have watched up to the end of this video, thank you. Don't forget, give me a follow by subscribing to this channel. Give me a thumbs up if you like what I just did. Turn on your notification bell so you get notified anytime I post a new video on this page or anytime I'm live, because I come live on this video, on this channel. My name is Aisha Bende. If you have any question, drop your question in the comment section. I'll take it up from there. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to invite family and friends to subscribe to this page. Bye bye.